Dana, thank you. Big news this morning involving ICE enforcement here in Maine. Senator Susan Collins' office says agents are, quote, ceasing extended operations in the state. Senator Collins says it comes after direct communication between her and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Collins says that means there are no current, ongoing, or planned large-scale ICE operations in the state. Phil Hirschhorn joining us live this noontime to break down the political side of the announcement. So, Phil, what came together to make this happen today?
Sure, let's just be clear off the top. We're a border state. ICE is still here and they're not entirely leaving. But let's talk about what we do know. Senator Collins, who voted to confirm Kristi Noem as President Trump's Homeland Security Secretary, got her on the phone after the ICE surge and arrest started. And today Collins says she's delighted that her access has produced results. Collins says she first told Noem last week the ICE surge had caused great anxiety and fear in Maine, and she didn't see the justification for it. Noem asked her examples, and Collins sent them to her, compiling the anecdotes of troubling arrests and confrontations we and other Maine news outlets have been reporting. Late yesterday, as Collins recounted on WVOM radio this morning, they spoke again, and Noem told her the surge would end, but not all of ICE's presence in our state.
I do want to assure everyone that the normal operations that ICE and Border Patrol do, which are important to public safety, will continue, but not this enhanced sweep, which was far too indiscriminate.
Now, this morning, U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner, the Democrat who's challenging Collins, along with Governor Mills, held an anti-ICE rally outside Senator Collins' Portland office. Plattner called for dismantling and defunding ICE. His like-minded supporters filled out comment cards for Collins. Plattner criticized her and other senators who are intent on passing a $64 billion Homeland Security funding bill this week that includes $10 billion for ICE and $18 billion for Customs and Border Enforcement. That's a combined 43% of the bill.
The Republican Party wants to give that agency more money. And right now, Susan Collins is going to try to trick us all into thinking that because Kristi Noem said so, we should respect giving them more cash. She would rather fund a fascist agency than stand up to this administration.
For her part, Governor Mills, who I said is competing with Plattner for the Democratic nomination, as you know, has called for Secretary Noem to resign or be fired because of the ICE surges everywhere and Noem's lack of law enforcement experience. In reaction to the surge pause, Mills says it doesn't end the pain and suffering caused in the past 2 weeks here. Continuing in her written statement, she said, "We still do not know critical details about the 200 individuals ICE says it has detained, many of whom appear to be here legally, who have no criminal record, and who are not the worst of the worst. The people of Maine deserve to know the identities of every person taken from here, the legal justification for doing so, where they are being held, and what the federal government's plan for them are."
Right, so Phil, of course, the big question would be what would happen now? How would we know as a state for sure that an ICE surge has ended at this point?
Well, we know that they said they had a target list of 1,400 people and that more than 200 have been taken. And we know that ICE has said they're all criminal illegal aliens, but as the governor's alluded to and our own reporting has shown, that's not always the case, given all the anecdotes of who's really been taken away.
Which was the point the governor was just making, as you were pointing out.
Right.
And then in terms of a timeline, when we think about Washington, Senator Collins, as we've been telling you, chairs the Senate Appropriations Committee on voting on that controversial bill with that amount of money to go toward ICE.
That's right. The Senate procedure is tedious and takes a long time. The votes are supposed to start today, and the reforms that the critics say are needed, no more masks, have to have body cameras, have to have warrants to arrest someone or enter their home. Those need to be in the bill. The Democrats are pushing to get those in the bill. Collins is determined to get it passed no matter what, but she supports some of those reforms as well. The deadline to do so is January 30th. Because
which is coming right up.
Remember the last shutdown?
Right. We pushed it to here.
We pushed it to here, and now we're here, and there's a bunch of appropriations bills to get done.
All right, up against the clock on this one. Phil Hirschhorn with our breakdown today. Phil, thank you.